So before we start our class today, we will chant the prayers. We will do the Ganapati Prarthana first, and then Saraswati. Then I will show you what are the next prayers. If you are familiar with Samskrta script, Devanagari script, then you can see the script and chant and recite with me. Please switch off your audio. There are here. I have given the transliteration also from the prayer. So those who don't know Devanagari, they can take the help of the transliteration and recite. So we'll start with the Ganapati Prarthana and pray to Lord Ganapati to remove all the obstacles in our study of Samskrtam, both internal as well as the external obstacles. Om Saṃskṛtam Batch I Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvighna Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. You can also mentally repeat. You don't have to chant with me. If everybody chants, then there will be too much of disturbance. So you can mentally repeat. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. So this is the prayer on Saraswati. Now, after Ganapati and Saraswati Prarthana, Guru Prarthana, if you want to write down the Prarthana, you can also do it. If you know the prayer, then it is fine. Otherwise, you can note down the shloka also. Saṃskṛtam Dayanandam Paramarthasvarupinam Tattvajnana Prashashtaram Pranatosmi Param Padam. Vagarthaviva Samprittau. There is a mistake in that, the typo. I will correct it in the next class. It is Vagarthaviva, not Vagarthaviva. That is a mistake. Vagarthaviva Samprittau Vagartha Pratipattaye Chikatav Pitarau Vande Parvati Parameshwarau. The next Prarthana. The shloka is on Panini Maharishi, praying to Panini Maharishi, who is one of the grammarian of Samskrtam. So we offer our prayers to Panini Maharishi. Enakshara samamnayam adhigamya maheshwarat Krishnam Vyakaranam Proktam Tasmai Padinaye Namaha. Then the next shloka on the commentary on Panini Sutra and also the subsequent commentaries, you can say, like Vritti and other things written by Vakyakara, and the Bhashyakara is Patanjali and Panini is the Sutrakara. So to all the three we offer our prayers. Vakyakaram Vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakaram Cha Pranatosmi Munitrayam. Munitrayam. The three Munis, Vararuchi, Patanjali, and Sutrakara. Sutrakara is Pani Maharishi, on which Patanjali Maharishi has written the Mahabhashya, the commentary, and Vararuchi has written the Vritti on that, Vakyakalam, Vararuchi. So we offer our salutations to all the three Munis, Rishis. Next is our Saṃskṛtam prayer. So what we chanted before, that is Ganapati Prarthana, Saraswati Prarthana, Guru Prarthana, they are all shlokas, and this is a mantra. This is a Vedic prayer. This is a mantra. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Every day every class we will chant these prayers. So you can slowly practice these prayers, and if required you can note down the prayers. This video will be uploaded maybe in a day or two to our website. You can go to the website and download the video and practice the prayers also. So now we will start our class. So I welcome all of you to our first class of Sanskrit. Today we will have a brief introduction to the language and discuss the importance of learning the language. Sanskrit is one of the ancient languages spoken by all the people irrespective of the class divisions which was prevalent in those times. Sanskrit was the native language of the Vedic times. Wikipedia, if you go, it says Sanskrit is a literary language and lingua franca for the educated of ancient and medieval Southeast Asia. This is what Wikipedia says about Sanskrit. I am not sure how far this statement is correct. The fact was, Sanskrit was a native language of all the people. It is not just a link language or the language of the educated masses. It was spoken by all the people of the Vedic times. There is a story. It's an interesting story which tells how even a common man knows better Sanskrit than the king, the Raja. Once the king, Bhoja, if I correctly remember the name, it is Bhoja Raja, I think. He saw a man carrying a heavy load of twigs on his head. The Raja, he took pity on the person and asked him, Bharam na badate kim? He asked in Samskrtam. Bharam na badate kim? Doesn't the heavy load which you carry cause you pain? The language which the Raja used was not grammatically correct. The poor person, the poor man who was carrying the load, he knows this. He knows better grammar than the Raja himself. So he replied, Bharam na badati, badhate badati. How beautiful his reply was. Bharam na badhati. Badate badati. The load doesn't cause me pain, but the verb which you wrongly used, it pains me. In Saṃskṛtam, we have something called Parasmipadi and Atmanipadi for the verbs. Badati is a correct one, but the Raja used Badate. So, the person, the uneducated person, he corrected the Raja. It should be Badati, not Badate. So, the person, the uneducated man, he knows Saṃskrta grammar, Paninian grammar. This is just a story. So, this story tells how even a common man he has this strong knowledge of Sanskrit. Therefore, Sanskrit was a spoken language of all the people once upon a time. And this language, over a period of time, due to the continuous onslaught of Mughals and British invasion, it seems to fade into nothingness. But thanks to the initiative of many people who have a love for this language, who understood the greatness of this language is now coming back to its glory. And the proof is that you are all present now in the class to learn Sanskrit. And that too getting up at 5:30 a.m. in India, for the people in India, and sitting in front of your laptop, and you have to fight with the laptop to switch off the video, the audio, and all these things. So that itself shows that the Sanskrit is alive. So I appreciate your interest and your commitment to learn the language. And I pray that you have the same enthusiasm and commitment till the end of the class. Till the end means not only of this class. In fact, there is no end. Our this class doesn't have any particular time duration. It is not a 6 months course or a 1 year course. It's not like that. It will continue as long as you want because there is a lot to learn. From basic Samskrtam to the advanced Sanskritam, which includes the Paninian system of grammar, there's a lot of things to be learned. Therefore, there is no time duration. And therefore, I welcome you all once again to the class and pray to Bhagavan. Let our effort fructify in mastering the language without any obstacles. There are a lot of obstacles, both internal as well as external. Externally joining the class, we have number limitations, and we should have the power, we should have the internet connection, firm internet connection. So all these things are all the obstacles can be resolved only by Bhagavan. So we pray to Bhagavan and start our class. Sanskrit, it belongs to a group of languages called Proto-Indo-European languages. The short form is PIE, Proto-Indo-European languages. Latin, Greek, and other languages, they are also considered to be a part of this PIE, Proto-Indo-European language. This PIE is considered to be the common ancestor of many of the Indo-European languages, hypothetically. It's a hypothetical theory. And this theory was arrived during the 19th century. And according to this theory, by comparing the most ancient languages, you can trace and reconstruct the parent language. The reconstruction of the parent language is called Proto-Indo-European. And this Proto-Indo-European is said to have been a spoken language during the period 4500 BC to 2500 BC. And the linguistic reconstruction of PIE, it gives an insight into the culture and the religion of the native speakers of the language. When the native speakers of the language they became isolated due to migrations and other things, it diverged into ancient and modern Indo-European languages. The widely spoken offspring of Proto-Indo-European languages, some of them are like Spanish, English, Persian, French, German, even Portuguese, Italian, and many Indian languages like Hindi, Urdu, Marathi, Bengali, etc. So it clearly shows that Sanskrit is the mother of many Indian and European languages. Since Sanskrit is a mother, therefore, with all reverence, we learn Sanskrit. I use the word Sanskrit and Saṃskṛtam. Why? Because, in fact, I don't want to use the word Sanskrit. Really speaking, it is not Sanskrit, it is Saṃskṛtam. But some of you may be using the word Sanskrit. So till you get familiarized with the Saṃskṛtam, the word, so I'll be using Sanskrit, but we have to drop using the word Sanskrit. I'll say why. Sanskrit is not a correct word. There's nothing wrong with the word, but the Sanskrit is anglicized word. It's an English word. So the right word should be Saṃskṛtam. The language is Saṃskṛtam, not Sanskrit. So let us call the language as Saṃskṛtam. So that is first thing we are learning today. So from the first class onwards, we will use the word Saṃskṛtam, not Sanskrit. So consciously we have to avoid using the word Sanskrit. We will use Saṃskṛtam. And you can see the transliterated word Saṃskṛtam in the screen. Later when you learn Devanagari, you can write in Saṃskṛtam. So our first learning is to use the correct word to address the language. The language is Saṃskṛtam. And as I said, it is written in transliteration. This transliteration, it is based on the IAST, that is International Alphabet of Sanskrit Transliteration. We write the word Saṃskṛtam using English alphabets, and that is called transliteration. That is according to International Alphabet of Sanskrit Transliteration, IAST. In the year 2001, another international standard for romanization, that is ISO 5919, transliteration of Devanagari and related Indic scripts into Latin characters, it was published, which uses diacritical marks to map consonants and vowels in Brahmi scripts to Latin script. Brahmi script is older than Devanagari script. Saṃskṛtam, it uses Devanagari script. It uses Devanagari script to represent the sound in the form of vowels and consonants and the combinations. Even in the prayers, what you saw just now, it's a transliterated version of the Devanagari script. We will study Devanagari script and we will discuss about it later. In the beginning, we will take the support of transliteration, which is according to the international standard. And once you become familiar with the Devanagari script, then we will drop the transliteration. We will drop using the transliteration. The reason is we should learn the language in the script of the language. We should not rely too much on our native language. The Saṃskṛtam should be practiced in Saṃskṛtam, in Devanagari script and Saṃskṛtam itself. we should not take the support of our native language, because each language is unique and should be studied in that language. In the beginning, we will take the support, but later we have to drop it. So we will avoid mapping Devanagari script into any of our native language script. So that is the idea. And Samskrtam is a living language. If anyone says Samskrtam is a dead language, don't believe it. Samskrtam is not dead. How can a language be called dead? You can say the language is not spoken anymore. It is not in vogue anymore. But you cannot call it as a dead language, because we forgot the language, or we don't use the language for our daily transactions. Can we call a language as dead? It is in fact too cruel to call a language dead. Samskrtam is a living language. It will not have its end dead, because Samskrtam has its roots in Vedas, and Vedas are the prana of Ishvara. Since Vedas are the prana of Ishvara, Vedas are not subject to destruction, and Samskrtam also doesn't have destruction. It cannot be destroyed. That is why the very letters of the language are called Aksharam. Aksharam means that which cannot be destroyed. Aksharati. And Samskrtam has its roots in Vedas, and therefore it cannot be destroyed. And also the language is still spoken in many parts of India. It is studied in schools and colleges, and it's also available for communication in some parts of India. In fact, it is a second official language of Jharkhand, a state in India. Therefore, Samskrtam is worth studying. If you want to study Upanishads, if you want to study and understand Bhagavad Gita, further if you want to study Brahma Sutra, then you must know Samskrtam. You will be totally handicapped if you don't know Samskrtam. Any amount of translated study, it will not help you to understand what the scriptures say. So now you can decide whether it is worth pursuing Samskrtam or to turn away from it if you find it difficult. In fact, the language is not difficult. Either our mindset towards a language, it makes difficult, or the teacher who teaches you, it makes difficult to learn. The language is not difficult. I believe that if you get the right teacher can make the language as simple and easy for you to learn and pursue. Anything you learn new in the beginning, that will be difficult. But by continuous effort and practice, then slowly you master the language. You learn, you master the language, and you enjoy the fruit of learning the language. So now let us get set and go further into Samskrtam. What is Samskrtam? What is the etymological derivation of the word Samskrtam? Samskrtam, it means Samyak Kritam. Samyak Kritam Samskrtam. It means the language is well defined. It's a well refined language. The structure is, the language is highly systematized. That is called Samyak Kritam. That which is well done, that which is perfected, structured, the systematic language. That is the meaning of the very word Samskrtam. And Samskrtam is also known as Deva Bhasha. Bhasha, language. Deva, gods. The language of the gods. The language spoken by the gods. And Sanskritam is also called Deva Vani, the language of the gods. Maybe it was spoken by the mythological gods. Samskrtam nama Devi Vak Anvakyata Magarsibi. Samskritam nama Devi Vak. It is a Devi Vak. It is a Deva Vasha. This is a statement of the great poet Dandin. So he calls that the word, the language as Devi Vak. Therefore, Sanskritam means it's a cultured, it's a refined language. The language is so well structured, refined, then you can imagine the culture and the lifestyle of the people who spoke the language. Since the language is so ancient, then who are the people who spoke the language? Scholars, they say that the recent archaeological studies, it shows that a Vedic culture in the Indus Saraswati civilization, it's at its peak in terms of the urban development. And this civilization was rich in cultural and spiritual developments and Vedic tradition. And the tradition of the civilization, it was passed on to the succeeding generations through oral transmission. And Sanskritam was a spoken language. Sanskritam didn't have its own script. So therefore it was the spoken language and the tradition was transmitted orally. All the mantras, the rituals, the know-how of the rituals, the method of conducting a ritual, and the knowledge of the reality, all these were passed on verbally from one generation to the other generation. And the families preserved each Vedas by transmitting to the successive generation. Later, when writing came into existence, Sanskritam was put it in the form of writing using Devanagari script. Devanagari is a script which Sanskritam uses for the representing the language in writing. And Devanagari script is one of the Brahmi family of scripts. Brahmi family of scripts is the oldest writing system, and Devanagari is one of the scripts of the Brahmi family. And this Devanagari script is used by more than 120 languages. It is the most adopted writing system. Many of the Indian languages like the Awadhi, Bhojpuri, Chhattisgarhi, Aryanvi, Hindi, Kashmiri, Konkani, Marathi, even Nepali, Pali, Rajasthani, Sindhi, Sanskrit, all these languages are written in Devanagari script. So if you know Devanagari script, you can read the other languages also. And Devanagari script, it has close relation to Nandinagari script. Nandinagari script is found in the manuscripts of southern India. And this Samskritam, it has been written in Devanagari script and also in various regional scripts like Sharada. Sharada is a writing script of the Kashmiri language. And Sanskritam is also written in Bengali, Gujarati, Grantha script is there, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, and various South Indian scripts also it is written. But we will learn the Devanagari script as it is and study Sanskritam. And why Sanskritam should be studied? The sound of the language the script of the language, which the language adopts, Devanagari, the grammar part of the language, the systematic structure of the language, all are well designed. And the study of the language, it disciplines our mind. It creates the orderliness of the mind. And in Samskrtam, we have a huge literature. We have a huge literature in Samskrtam in the field of science, art, music, literature, mathematics, astronomy, astrology, sculpture, architect, philosophy, drama, poetry. In so many fields, we have a huge literature. In fact, one life is not enough to study all the Samskrtam literature. But at least we can try to read Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads with Saṃskṛtam Batch I. To that extent, we can learn Samskrtam. And Samskrtam, as I told before, it is the mother of all languages. The words of the modern languages you can trace back to Samskrtam. I have on the screen you can see some of the words I have given. Some of the Samskrita words like Nama. Nama means name. Nama means name. The word Nama of Samskrtam, it has become name in English. Similarly, the word Gau. Gau means cow. The Samskrita word Gau becomes cow. Sarpa. Sarpa is serpent. Sarpa becomes serpent. Danta. Danta becomes dental. Teeth. Pancha. Pancha, 5, the number. It becomes 5 in English. Tat. Tat becomes that. Sama. Sama means equal, same. Sama becomes same. Sapta becomes 7. Ashta, that becomes 8 in English. Nava, 9. Yauvana. Yauvana becomes juvenile. A lot of other words are there. A lot of English words can be traced back to the Samskrita words. Therefore, if you know some Indian languages, then you will find a lot more words that can be traced to Samskrtam. In fact, many of the words of the Bengali, they are all Samskrtam words only. That is maybe the reason the Bengalis can pick up Samskrtam quickly, because most of the words what they use, they are Samskrtam words only. And the Samskrtam, it has highly systematic and structured in terms of grammar and pronunciation. It has an excellent science of phonetics. The different sounds produced by the tongue when touching the different parts of the mouth, they are appropriately used to address the things, address the objects of the world. Therefore, it is important to understand the position of the tongue in the mouth to speak the language, to utter the syllables of the script, Devanagari script of the language. So it is an excellent phonetic science is there behind the language. It is not just imitation of sound. The imitation of sound will not give the actual charm of the language. We have to understand how the sound is produced by touching the tongue with the different parts of the mouth, and the sound is produced. And it has got science in it. So the language has the excellent phonetic system. And another feature of the language is it helps to understand the culture the tradition, the excellent tradition of the people who were speaking it. And though the Sanskritam was an ancient language spoken in those times, but it is still new and it is highly flexible. With Sanskritam, we can coin any word for any modern scientific inventions or technologies. We can coin any word for that using Sanskritam. We can coin any word for any modern discovery, any modern invention. We have Sanskritam words for fan, for computer, for television, mobile phone, even software and websites. There is a Samskrtam Wikipedia is there. You will see a lot of words which is used for the even in software. Software terms are written in Sanskritam. With just 2000 verbal roots, we can play with the language and form any word of our choice. And you take a word of Sanskritam and you can go down to the etymological derivation of it and you can see through the meaning of the word. That is another beauty of the language. And according to the Forbes magazine, probably would have heard this, Sanskritam is the most convenient language for software programming. Why? Because of its the well-structured system. And since there are many scientific, philosophical, historical, and literary works are available in Sanskritam, you can imagine the immensity of literature. And Mahabharata, the famous literary work of Vedavyasa, the largest epic of the world, it is in Sanskritam. And we have sutra literature like Ashtadhyayi. Ashtadhyayi is Panini's Sutra Pata. Ashtadhyayi, Brahma Sutra, Yoga Sutra, Nyaya Sutra, all sutra literatures in Sanskritam. Ramayana and other classic poetry works like Kumara Sambhava, Shakuntala by Kalidasa, and Kiratarjuniya by Bhairavi, they're all in Sanskritam. And many Puranic literary works, they're also in Sanskritam. Therefore, a huge literary works are available in Sanskritam, and we don't have enough life to study them. We don't have to study all the literature, but at least we can try to understand the language and study some of the basic texts like Gita or the basic Upanishads to understand that as it is. If you know the language, then you will have the vision of what the scripture, what the Gita says. Depending on translation, will not give the correct vision of the Shastra. That is another biggest advantage why Sanskritam should be studied. Therefore, what is required is our persistent effort, our interest, and enthusiasm. If you have that, then it is worth investing your time in learning the language, and you will discover the beauty and the richness of the language. So these reasons are enough why Sanskritam should be studied. We can give n number of reasons, but these are some of the reasons which I thought I will share with you. So that would be convincing for you to pursue Samskritam. And now, introduction to Samskrita syllables. That is, we are going to study Devanagari script. Some of you know, and some of you may not know. So, for the sake of all the students who are, including the students who are, particularly for the students who are new to the language, so I'll start with Devanagari script. Samskrita syllables are called Varnamala. You can see the transliterated word Varnamala and as well as the Devanagari script. If you can read the Devanagari script, then it is fine. If you don't know Devanagari, you can read the transliterated word. Varnamala is there. Varnamala, the word has two words in it. Varna and Mala. Two words combined together and make one word, that is Varnamala. Varnaha is one word, which means letter. Mala means garland. So Varnamala, it means the garland of letters. The letters are the garland of the language itself. Therefore, Varnamala. And if you see the etymology of the word Varna, the word Varna, it has its etymology. Varnyate Preryate iti Varnaha. It means that which is expelled from the vocal organ. That which is impelled from the vocal organ, that is called Varnaha. So Varnyate Preryate. That which is comes from the vocal organ, that is called Varna. What comes? The sound. The sound comes by your effort. Touching the tongue, different parts of the mouth, the sound is produced. And you use in all of your mouth, starting from kanta, throat, palate, cerebral, tongue, dental. All these are different parts of your mouth, and the tongue touches the different parts of the mouth, and the sound is produced. That is called Varna. So from the vocal organ, the sound comes out. That is called Varna. So Varna Mala. So Varnyate Prerete iti Varnaha. So that is how we get the word Varna Mala. The Varna, the sound, which is represented in the form of the letters in Devanagari script, that is the Mala of the language. Therefore, Varna Mala. And there is the script which Samskrtam uses. We have seen that, Devanagari. Devanagari is the name of the script which Samskrtam uses. And Devanagari script, otherwise called Varnamala, otherwise called Aksharamala. Aksharamala is the another word to denote the letters of the language. Aksharamala. Mala means garland. Aksharam. Akshara means that which cannot be destroyed. The sound of the language, Samskrtam language, it cannot be destroyed. It is there. It is there beginninglessly. It is there. Since the creation started, the sound is there as part of the creation. Therefore, it cannot be destroyed. The sound may come to manifestation and it may go to unmanifestation, but the sound as such cannot be destroyed. As sound, the letters of the language are indestructible. That is why they are called Aksharam. And if you see the etymology of the word Aksharam, Na Ksharati iti Aksharam. That which cannot be destroyed, it is called Aksharam. Aksharani is a plural form of Aksharam. Aksharam means letters. Why the sound or the letters are called Aksharam? Because it cannot be destroyed. The sound, which is represented in the form of the letters, cannot be destroyed. Therefore, it is called Aksharam, singular word, and the plural form is Aksharani. Aksharati iti Aksharani, that which cannot be destroyed. So Aksharamala is another name for Varnamala. And this Varnamala or Aksharamala, it is divided into two parts. vowels and consonants. In English, the vowels are in between the consonants. There is no clear segregation of vowels and consonants. A, E, I, O, U. They are in between the consonants. But here in Samskrtam, there is a clear distinction is there. They are classified. Vowels and consonants. First we will study vowels and then the consonants. I will use a word, Sanskrita word for vowels and consonants later. So once you become familiar with that, we will drop the word vowels and consonants and we will use the Sanskrita words. In Sanskritam, we have 13 plus 2 vowels. 13 plus 2 vowels are there. And vowels are called Swaraha. You will see the transliterated word, transliteration in the next slide. I'll show you that. Vowels are called Swaraha or Swaravarnaha or Achaha. Achaha also means vowels. Achaha, the word, the name for the vowels, it comes from the Panini Mageshwara Sutra that I'll teach you later. So, Swaraha, Swaravarnaha or Achaha all mean vowels only. And vowels are 13 plus 2 in numbers. And these vowels are classified into 2. Simple vowels and conjunct vowels. I have given different names for the simple vowels and conjunct vowels. We will look into it later. In general, vowels are classified into simple vowels and conjunct vowels. Simple vowels are called Samana Swaraha. Swaraha means vowel. Samana Swaraha or Amishra Swaraha. Amishra Swaraha. These are the names, other names. Conjunct vowels are called Sanyukta Swaraha or Mishra Swaraha. Now we will see the simple vowels. There are 9 simple vowels and 4 conjunct vowels. So 9 plus 4, 13. So there are 13 vowels, 13 plus 2 I said. Plus 2 I will tell what it is later. So first we can learn the 13 vowels. Simple vowels are 9 in number and conjunct vowels will be 4. So first we will study simple vowels. The simple vowels are, you can see, A. That is the first letter, A. And A. The long form of A is A. And the next letter, E. The long form of the letter is E. I'm reading the second line. And now the third line. Below the simple vowels, and third line I'm reading, U. U. And the fourth one, R. R. The second column, here, long vowels, you have to extend it for some time. You have to extend it. I'll tell you how much time later. The last one, you can see, that is L. It is L. I'll show you the pronunciation guide, how to pronounce the vowels. First, how to write. This is A. This is the first syllable of the language, A. I'm moving forward, and if you don't know, if you don't understand, you can ask me. I'll go back and show you the previous slide. The first one is A. Second one, A. A is the stretched form of A. The next one, E. E. U. U. Then R. You can see how it is written. R. The next simple vowel is L. It is L. Okay. Now the word A, it is pronounced as in, you can see, cup. When you say cup, that A sound is cup or bus. So that is the sound of the first syllable A. And A is the elongated form of A, like far. When you say far, that A is elongated. And E. E is pronounced as in inform. That E, inform. That E sound is there. That is E. And E. E will be eagle. That E is there. So that E sound. And U. U is pronounced as in the word book. When you say book, that U sound. U. Rooster. That U sound is there. That is U. So the basic sounds, if you see, A, E, U. These three are the basic sounds. And you will see the combination of these three sounds will give another set of vowels, which will come later. You will see that. So this A, E, U. These three are the basic sounds. And the next letter, R. R, it is R. Many people will say it is Ri. It is not Ri, it is R. Maybe in some parts of North India, they say it is Ri. But really speaking, it is R only. We say Rishihi. We don't say Rishihi, 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 or Ritam, or Rig Veda. We don't say that Ri sound will not come. The sound will be R. Therefore, it is pronounced like in crystal. That R sound is there. And we don't have a exact equivalent word in English. So you have to hear the sound and internalize. The next one is L. L. The sound is L. This letter you won't find much in use. Usage is there, but not much. So that is L. So these are the 9 simple vowels. A, E, U, R, L. Now we will move on to the next one. The next one will be the conjunct vowels. The conjunct vowels that we will see in the next class. So we can stop here. After the Shanti Mantra, if you have any doubts, you can unmute your mic and ask. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha. You can ask if you have any